Have we ever started a show with the Echo? Fantastic.
If it's me, I can go get something.
The Echo edition.
It's still there.
I'll go get something.
Nobody knows. Nathan Stacken was here. Is the Echo still here?
Yep, it's worse than ever.
Nice.
Like a whiteout here. Where am I? Winnipeg or Mitchell, South Dakota?
More in Manitoba. Why? Marcus. You have your headphones
Stacken's
on.
getting headphones.
I
Maybe
got
that'll
it.
help.
Maybe it's a Stacken situation. Charlie, how are you?
I'm good.
Does it echo for you?
I can hear sometimes it echoes, sometimes it doesn't. Do you guys hear me echoing?
It's fine right
No.
now.
We're good right now. Mets are ahead 1-0 on the Brewers. It's 1-0 Orioles.
How is Brian Anderson pulling double duty?
Boston threatening. You got some Jabron doing some the Milwaukee game with the Milwaukee station. Lounge 248, the Blizzard edition. Lots of snow. Lots of snow over the weekend. Nathan Stacken disappointed. He's never. What's the worst you've ever experienced? Down in these parts, it's the 97 blizzard.
Agreed. Yep. Not even a question. That would be the
97 for you too in Marshall. That affected the Marshall area.
Yeah, I remember KARE 11 actually, or WCCO did multiple live shots from the Wooden or like downtown Marshall and the Wooden Nickel. I remember school getting closed, the day before because of it would be too cold or like the night of. They were just like, you know what, 6 o'clock in the evening, we're just going to cancel school for tomorrow. No one should go out in this. Kind of like what they do for the Twins games this weekend.
They close Perkins or not?
I don't know. Perkins is always open.
Good. Marcus, lots of snow. They were building this up as over a foot, maybe a foot and a half, and we got all of it, 16.2 inches. So I was very pleased with all of this. I hope the wind doesn't get overshadowed here because the wind was amazing to watch.
Mm-hmm.
I had to venture out yesterday a little bit. I don't know if you ventured out. Wasn't great. Was this the worst that you've seen?
This is the worst since I moved to Mitchell. The Echo is back.
Wow.
I don't try that now.
Try again.
Still lousy.
Worst. Huh?
I think it's better now. I ventured out because I was supposed to take photos of this storm, and I was out probably for about a half hour, and then I just went back because I'm like, some of the streets weren't fully plowed. I wasn't really gonna get stuck, so I got a few things, and they windrow the streets, the main street when they're cleaning out Main Street, and there's like a 6-foot pile of snow in front of the Corn Palace as they're windrowing the piles together. So that was pretty funny to look at, but it was one of those storms. This is the worst storm since I've been here for sure. And, as far as like April blizzards, I mean, this is historic, something we've never seen at this point of the year. So, we were expecting this much snow. You and I probably had our doubts about that, but it delivered.
I had my doubts.
You had your doubts. Yeah. And, the one thing I would say is that the timing was maybe a little behind of what was expected, but it delivered. I mean, it was, I was out at a local watering hole on Friday night, and driving there was fine. And then on the way back, it was probably like 1 o'clock, and it was tough to get home. I damn near got stuck. So it was
The watering hole didn't have any factor in that, did it?
Not at all. Not at all. So
He was drinking the juice.
So the ferocity that the storm brought, I would imagine there were stretches there where it was snowing 2 inches an hour, and pretty impressive. And they talk about an inch of rain equals about a foot of snow. So I think it's common to say in mid-April you would get an inch and a half of rain, and that all turned to snow here. And the unfortunate part is that I don't think it's going to leave us very quickly. I mean, the temperatures won't get into the 50s for a while. It sounds like regularly.
Wednesday.
Well, and we're supposed to get more snow. I mean, that's the other The
I
other
don't know
thing-
if this is like a couple inches or if this like
Well,
4,
it's
5, 6
it's not going to be a lot, but it's going to be enough to be a pain in the ass, I'm sure. And,
What are we making of schools tomorrow? How many we got? A couple hours late? You thinking? Anybody going to be closed up?
Yeah, I feel like late starts are probably what'll happen. I mean, I think if you're in the Mitchell area, you're probably going to school. If you go to Korska Stickney or if you go to Gregory or Winter, yeah, you might have a 2-hour late start.
Charlie, there was your Stacking. Stacking might remember this as well. It'd be Stacking in ours freshman year. There was a big blizzard.
Oh, I remember.
In
Yes.
Brookings, right before
Yep.
spring break.
Yes,
Did
I
you
was so
stay
pissed.
in Brookings?
I ended up leaving. I stayed in Brookings until the interstate opened, which was not fun because I remember I was excited to get out of Brookings. I don't even remember what I ended up doing, but yeah, just like 2 days, like, oh, yep, stuck here because I can't leave.
Yeah,
That was 2007 Stacking.
Yeah, I was pissed because I wanted to get home and I had to stay at my grandparents. So it wasn't the end of the world, but I left.
Grandma Rue was very happy.
Grandma, yes, but left the next day and driving home, I saw two semis that were tipped over and in the ditch, and they were half covered due to like the wind and all the snow. So I'm like,
And
oh,
you didn't
maybe
even offer
it was
to help Boots. You didn't even offer to help Boots get out of that mess.
I didn't really know him that well at the time.
I think it was this last week, or it could have been 2 weeks ago at this time, but 5 years ago was when they had the snow day at SDSU, and I was still there. And I mean, obviously that must have been in April if it was 5 years ago, because I saw somebody had posted about it on Facebook. So, and that was a serious storm. I mean, that was probably like a foot of snow, a lot like this, but you know, it wasn't 16 inches. I know that. So, you know, that was probably another memorable April storm, at least for me, because
But Mitchell had the previous record during this. I was not here that time. It was like 13.8 back in 2013.
I'm sure that was the same storm. And yeah, that
April
was
9th through the 13th. It was, I guess.
yeah. So
Do you think that Minnesota's ever going to get their golf season started here? Are they just going to cancel the entire high school season? Because I think they should at this point. It's a tad ridiculous. A good job, South Dakota high school athletics, for having golf in the fall.
well, their small schools have golf in the spring, and girls golf
Okay.
is mostly in the spring.
Oh, is it just boys?
Just AA and A boys are in the
Okay.
fall.
Okay.
And
Baseball, though, that's a questionable thing. Baseball.
well, the season was supposed to start for small school golf tomorrow for Mitchell, and that obviously isn't going to happen. So, yeah, what a mess! What a mess the storm is going to end up being, and I would say, you know, certainly raise the specter of flooding in this area for sure.
It'll be interesting to see. Mitchell baseball had their first 7 games canceled the first almost 2 weeks. They played a doubleheader, on Thursday and Friday?
Wednesday and Thursday.
Wednesday and Thursday. So they got 4 games in. I would deem it unlikely they get any games in this week because Sioux Falls got almost as much snow, and this stuff is going to melt and it's going to be a mess. So the first 3 weeks or so of the season kind of gone. So be interesting to see what they do, if they push anything back at all, or if they just go with what they've got right now.
Well, I think the rules are that you have to play 12 games before the playoffs start, and Mitchell won't have a problem getting those in, I don't think. But some of these smaller towns, I think that could be a challenge. And
Can't there be some exceptions given the circumstances?
Well, Minnesota passed some of those this last week, but I don't think, to be honest, I don't think South Dakota will have its shit together to do that. So
I remember the blizzard that Brookings won in 2007. It was either you left now or you were going to get stuck there. So we're leaving now, and difficult to get the car out of the parking lot, but we got it out and we got on the road. And it's about an hour drive, and it took all of 2 hours. And once you left that interstate, there was not much for the visibility, and slow moving, and fun to do once. I'm sure Stacking would have been excited. Driving, it was take the center line of the interstate and just go from there.
White knuckling it for 2 hours, always fun.
Yes. It was about 3 or 4 years ago now. I think it was like the first time I did Christmas with Kelsey's dad and stepmom. We always celebrate Christmas with them in January, and they're in St. Cloud. So I was trying to get back to Brookings, and it had snowed that night. It was snowing a little bit throughout the day, but the winds were so bad that I could barely see like 20 yards in front of me. And so, but the roads were completely fine. You just couldn't see. So
wind.
Yeah. So I thought about pulling over at Prairie's Edge in Granite Falls, and it said, but nope. I just continued, but I stopped in Marshall and made it to Brookings the next day. But that was the worst that I've seen it, since then.
I remember I made the same trip when I went and visited Schottenkirk the one time to watch the Gophers and the Huskies the last time they played in St. Cloud, 2 games. Mm-hmm. And it was the same way. It was like the storm was over, but the roads were crappy and the visibility was horrible. And yeah, it was a long trip back to Brookings. And that's one of those routes that I always think can be pretty crappy if the weather's not right.
Mm-hmm.
Charlie, how was the drive back Sunday night of the Summit League tournament? Because it was Monday. I mean, Sunday night into Monday. That was a pretty good blast right there too.
Just this year you're talking about?
Was that fine?
Going south
was better.
Well, there's a random story with that I never told you guys.
Oh,
ooh.
It wasn't snowing or anything. My recollection is it was raining some, and then it would rain for a bit, and then I would hit a spot where it wasn't raining, and I would turn off my my wipers. And I know since I had to drive, I don't know, what is that, like a little over an hour, I was like, oh, well, instead of having like one drink, I won't drink at all since I have to drive a ways back. And it could have been a good thing that I didn't have any because no, could have been way worse than that. There was some person like walking in the interstate at like 1 a.m. or whatever that I had to swerve to miss. And for a brief second thought like, oh, is this car going to flip over? It did not. But I remember yeah.
Holy shit,
but did not hit the person who I am assuming was intoxicated. I would hope was not like crazy.
Where was this at?
This was like 15 miles north of North Sioux City. Yeah. This was when I was pretty close to all the way back.
Didn't someone die like around Brookings for like some homeless person was walking around the interstate or something? This happened like a few years back, I want to say, but I thought there was a story about someone
that guy in
like an underpass.
A couple of weeks ago jumped off a bridge and got hit by a semi. I think that was what we call suicide in the business.
Yeah, that's right.
But so that's that's scariest, Charlie, scariest thing you've encountered on the road, maybe, probably?
It's the scariest looking back on it with hindsight being 2020. At the time, like by the time everything happened, like I was fine and I didn't hit the guy. And that was when it was like, oh man, that really could have been bad. There was one time I got in a car accident once. It wasn't like a super major one. But like when people talk about everything like slowing down, like everything slowed down then right before I hit this guy. And that was probably scarier in the moment, but looking back on it, I don't know, I was probably only hit like 20 miles an hour, so it wasn't that bad. But.
Great field of vision on your part right there.
I have
down for you.
I have a very similar story, and I think Amon was with me, so he could validate it. But and I'm sure I've told this maybe on here before, but we were coming back from one of the STSU NDSU football games. I don't know which one because I think I covered 3 or 4 of them up there, but we were coming back, and I think we were like north of Watertown, and it was the same thing. We saw, but there was like no car anywhere nearby. It was just a guy like on the shoulder. He wasn't like walking in the lane, but it was late November, December, and this guy's nowhere near any civilization. And I remember saying like, holy shit, and it's 1 o'clock in the morning. It's way too late to begin with. And
this guy wasn't homeless? Was he?
Oh, I don't know.
Like, did he have belongings? Or
Well, I'm assuming like Traxler, we did not have time to turn around and go
Yeah.
back and ask him. It's a pretty bang bang situation. I'm assuming it was a guy for me. I don't know. I didn't get a good look. I saw a silhouette and I was like, oh, I need to swerve so I don't
Where were you?
explode this
in the
person.
middle of the road?
I was in the right lane, and my recollection is this person was in the right lane, like not in the absolute middle of the lane, but like, no, I need to swerve so I don't hit this person.
well, that's why I just was wondering if because some if it's
But
a
like
hitchhiker,
Traxler
then that's
said,
a little understandable.
Like
that
Traxler
someone's
said, there
walking.
was not any. I mean, this was a part where there aren't lights on the side of the road. There's not
Right.
an exit within 5 or 6 miles of there. There wasn't a car on the side of the road.
Just tell him to get back to the casino.
I remember.
Well, my first thought was it could be some psychotic person, and the last thing I wanted to do
Yeah.
was go and get out of my car and be like, "Hey, man, what's going on?"
Right.
At 1 a.m, when you start thinking weird thoughts because you're all by yourself, and you're like, "What is this person a serial killer?" I don't know.
and you're going.
Criminal minds.
You're not like Charlie kind of alluded. You're not driving 30. You're going 75, and you're like,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, if I hit this guy, it's not going to be good. So let's stay off the roads here, buddy.
Well, Marcus, I'm thinking the guy that you ran or almost ran into, he probably just got lost at the casino or needed to get back to the casino.
Well, yeah, of course, yeah.
That casino.
Hypothetical, worst case scenario, you hit this guy, Charles. You hit this guy or gal. There's no evidence. Well, it'd be hard not to have some evidence on the vehicle. But let's assume there is no evidence on the vehicle, and you hit this guy. Chances they would find you.
Probably high, because my first thought would be I need to pull over and call the police.
Oh yeah, that's probably it.
Because, and in addition to that, is like in this extreme scenario, I don't know if it would have been really my fault in the first place. Like, I don't think they'd be like, "Oh, you clearly sought this person out."
Yeah, get off the road.
I think it's one of those where you could hit it, you could hit him, and like you're sort of alluding to, it wouldn't be your fault, but you have to stop because the odds are good that he's gonna shatter your windshield or he's gonna I don't think you could just keep driving. That'd be tough. So
Guy from Boston butting against the shift. He's trying. All right, so that's weather and road.
Wait, one last quick thing on the snow. This did not happen to me this weekend, but it's happened to me in the past, and it's probably happened to some of you guys also. I always think it's kind of fun, weird, like the odd, strange social interaction of like when you get stuck, especially if you're in a car and someone offers to like push you out. But by the time they get you unstuck, like you can't be like, all right, I'm going to stop and get out and say thanks, because then you're going to be stuck again. So it's like once you get unstuck, they push you, and then it's just like, all right, I'm leaving. I can't do anything. But thanks, even though I didn't get a chance to tell you thanks.
yeah, that was I had that in like late November. I was driving from Westington Springs. I was coming back to Mitchell, and there was like a garbage truck in the right lane, and this is where it's 4 lanes. And so there was a garbage truck in the right lane, and then there was another car there, and I kind of slid over into the left lane and ended up going in the ditch in the middle. And thankfully, it was a part of the road where the ditch is pretty forgiving. And so I slid in there, and I was trying to drive myself out, and some kid stops. He played football for Weston Springs Woonsocket, like I recognize the name, and he had like a plastic or a rubber boot that you would use if you were doing chores and stuff on the farm. And he kind of like put that under the tire and helped me get out of there. And so like, I'm like, thank you. I damn near gave him my whole wallet. I think I gave him like a $20 bill or something, but it was just because that's what I had. But when you're in that scenario, yeah, you can't thank that person enough. And because otherwise, yeah, I would have been probably stuck there. So
good Samaritans.
Well, yes. Yeah. Good kid. So.
Good centenarians.
Good
Like
centenary.
what Traxler did is good, but like I've been in scenarios where it's so snowy that if I would like stop the car, they would be like, "Oh, you're stuck again, and now we have to move you again." So it's just like you don't even get the chance occasionally to even be like, "Oh, thank you very much." Afterwards,
And the kid put his boot down, and the tire basically chewed through the boot. And so the $20 to me was, hey, you need that boot replaced more than anything, because my car just chewed through that. So I hope he got that replaced.
We have one viewer. I'll take a guess and say it is a friend of the program, Matt Helverson, because he has. This is
Are you sure? Are you sure it's not the Jehovah's Witness guy?
Could have been.
I hope the hell not. I hope the hell not.
He would join the show.
Yeah, this. I don't think I put a link out to join it. I can just watch it. April 25th, 2012. Matt has a story from Kello. Drunk driver kills naked man on I-29.
Wow.
Out-of-state man died in a bizarre accident in Brookings. Well, who is them? Somebody say about Brookings? Was this
That
Stackers?
That was Stack?
Yeah.
Probably what he's referencing. This is nice. This is nice. Highway Patrol 28-year-old Jason Childers of Indiana was living underneath the main Brookings overpass.
I do remember this. Yep, all the way through.
Removed his clothes, started running back and forth across the interstate just before 6 in the morning. He was hit by a 64-year-old guy. After the crash, he found that this guy, actually the 64-year-old, had been drinking alcohol. He was arrested for his first DUI. Also, the guy that he hit was drinking. So,
wow.
It'll be interesting. Let me see. Google this guy's name. See what happened. Kind of similar to our scenario. And Charlie did not drink that night, and he did not hit the man.
Yeah, thankfully, because I remember thinking afterwards. I mean, there's times where, I mean, like a lot of people, I will have like one beer and drive because you'll be under the limit. But I thought, like, how slower could my reactions have been? And they wouldn't have been fast enough. So glad I did not have a single drop that night.
I think the other thing is that, like, when you drive, because I've done it a fair amount of time where, like, you drive up, Crins can attest, you go to something, maybe we go to Buffalo Wild Wings after, I have a couple Diet Mountain Dews, you just drive home, you're driving home, 1 or 2 in the morning, and weird shit happens on the interstate at those hours. So it's a good reminder of just to be careful in that scenario because that's I've driven I-90 between Mitchell and Sioux Falls a lot at 1 or 2 in the morning, or like you come back from covering SDSU, a game that starts at 6 o'clock and you're driving back and you're just like, weird shit happens, on the interstate at that hour. So it's a tough place to be and drive.
Milwaukee Bucks are on a 26-7 run right now.
This is not good for Boston.
Boy, is this game on TV?
TNT.
Oh man, I would much rather watch that than the USC spring game.
TNT has 3 of the 4 games tonight, including Wolves Rockets later tonight.
43-36.
Yep, and Boston did just hit a 3, so it was a 26-4 run.
Stacking, the NBA playoffs are the worst. I mean, I don't know if we say it enough. They're the worst of any sport. It's like it's almost like you don't even have to mention it because it's just it's regarded as fact.
So I watched the abortion of a game between the Jets and the Wild on. Well, that was Friday too. I watched that. That was worse. But I watched the game on Wednesday, and I flip over to watch the last quarter of Timberwolves and Nuggets. And the amount of contact, I mean, I don't watch NBA basketball until the playoffs, but like the amount of contact that they had, no fouls were called, was just it. Like, is that how NBA basketball always is? And then watching Bucks Celtics here, and it's just like it's a slugfest, and there are no fouls. Like I guess I'm used to college basketball where they call every little ticky tack thing, and that gets annoying, but there's got to be some happy medium in there, isn't there?
I think part of it is, when you think about it, they allow what, five excuse me, I got a text message I was just looking at. Sorry about that. If you have, 5 fouls in a quarter, in a 12-minute quarter, and you called every little bump like we see, you would think that, they'd be in the bonus with 8 minutes to go in the quarter. So I think they can't call everything in that sense. And you also have these star players that you want to keep in the game. So it's a situation where they're just, it seems obvious they're not going to call everything. And that makes for some very physical ends of games. And I didn't necessarily notice it in that game because frankly, the offense was horseshit at the end of that game too. But I've certainly see your point. You see that a fair amount.
It's Yeah, I'd like to say it's a stark contrast compared to college basketball. And, I don't like them calling every little ticky-tack thing in college basketball, but damn, I mean, this just it just doesn't look – it's not very appealing to see, just the amount of contact in the NBA and have no fouls called. And you're like, well, what is a foul these days?
Mm-hmm.
Probably like a chicken or something with wings.
Well, I mean, duck is obviously popular without a doubt.
The state bird. I still don't know who won this New Orleans-Portland game. I'll assume Portland won.
Nope. Pelicans won.
I thought for sure you were going to be watching that last night.
I did watch until halftime. I'm like, it's 11:30 or 11 o'clock.
Okay, wow. Packing it in.
Yeah, I'm packing it in. There was a situation where I possibly had to get up early this morning. That did not happen. Thank Joe Pesci for that. But yeah, I mean the first there's more games today. That's interesting. This Milwaukee-Boston series is interesting. Utah-Oklahoma City. That should be a very good series. Spurs-Warriors. I have no interest in that.
That game yesterday was horrible. That was horrible.
That's going to be Sweep City. Toronto, get the hell out of here. Villanova and Virginia, the group.
Is this the time you? Or
how dare you? You'll just like
I don't
solely
like
Villanova's name like that.
I don't like how hard the 1 seed in the Toronto had to work to win that game yesterday.
I know.
That's terrible. And okay. I was moderately aroused by the Portland New Orleans game, but I'm not sure.
Like the second. I didn't see the second half. Looks like it went to shit in the second half.
Well, but Portland made their run, and I think if they wouldn't have been behind by so much, it could have been a better finish. I put in the chat that I was annoyed by Damian Lillard and what's his face Nurkic, right, for the Blazers trying to draw fouls rather than score. So,
Charlie, what'd you have?
I was just going to say this is the 1 or 2 times a year where I bring up that the NBA should switch to Charlie's playoffs idea, where the first round is only a best of 1 series, the second round is best of 3, the third round, the conference finals are best of 5, and then only the NBA finals are best of 7. So it gets done faster. The first round games have a little more meaning where you think, oh, this is your one chance NCAA tournament style, like I know Stacken and Traxler and I are all diehard Minnesota Timberwolves basketball fans, since Traxler convinced me to be a Timberwolves fan. I think it's safe to say they're probably not going to beat the Rockets in 7. But if you went best of 1, I'm not saying they would then either. But in a 1-game chance, you're more likely to do something, and there's a little more interesting then.
I can't even think. The Timberwolves might not even win a game in this series. I'll give them 1. I'll throw them.
I don't know if we're going to get into this series right now or not, but
Go ahead.
I feel like I don't know. Doesn't it feel like everything's kind of coming together a little too easily for the Rockets? I don't know how everybody else feels, but I feel like we could be in Chris Paul injury territory very soon, right? I mean,
has Chris Paul even gotten to the conference finals yet in his career?
Nope,
I don't think so.
So all it takes is for them to miss a lot of threes, build some homes for Habitat for Humanity by laying down all those bricks. And
his go-tos.
This is me cringing over here.
Sorry. But I don't know.
I'm all in on Philadelphia. Hope they play Cleveland in this conference finals. That'd be great. Hope they take down Boston or whoever they have to play next. So I have some interest in watching. I watched more of the Philadelphia-Miami game than any other game this week, and
disappointed by Miami in game 1, but it's just 1 game too. So.
I mean, they got first half was very good for Miami. Second half got their doors blown off. So Charlie's proposal, it's his proposal. I like that. My proposal, again, these will never happen because I don't have any memory of any sport having fewer games or cutting back on games. But
especially playoff games.
Yeah. My proposal is only 6 teams make the playoffs in both league. Top 2 seeds get a bye. First round series can be like a 3-game series. Because if you're not a top honestly, if you're not a top 2 seed, you're not likely to make the finals. If you're not a top 4 seed, it's almost impossible. Take LeBron James teams out of the equation. There was since
let's at least go back to the 5-game first-round series. I mean, this just takes way too long.
For this, yeah. Because you look at, there was a tweet I thought was very good. The top seeds since like 1980, and there's Houston won it as a 6th seed.
When Jordan was retired in the mid-90s.
Yep, I believe it was the 2nd year, I think, or maybe the 1st year. First year, maybe.
It was the one where they played the Magic, I'm pretty sure.
Second,
they were the 6th seed.
And that was the first time, just looking at 1980, that was the first time that a non-top 3 seed did not make it. The Knicks made it as an 8 seed in the shortened year. Mid-2000s, early 2000s, you had a 3 seed and a 4 seed make it. So there's only been 2 4 seeds, a 6 and an 8. So in the last 30, 40 years, there's only been 4 examples of non-top 3 seeds making it. So usually it's the one.
Like, how the hell is that a foul?
Sometimes it's the 2.
So, Krenz, I like your playoff format also, where you're basically just doing what the NFL does and just be like, you know what, we're just going to do it this way.
Yeah.
We don't need those teams at the bottom it's good for them that they made it, but they're almost certainly not going to.
And honestly, if you just want to have the top 4 teams make it and have a 7-game series, that's fine. Go back like baseball would do. You have 4 teams in each conference make it.
I'd be fine with that.
We're wasting our time with anybody else, and I think that would juice up the regular season. NBA's got an awful regular season. That would juice that up a little bit. On what Western Conference was pretty exciting this year. How much more exciting would it have been? What he had Portland, Utah. That decided the 3 seed, the 3 and the 5 seed, wasn't it?
Yeah. What?
I believe that's correct, but you would know more so than I would.
If Utah would have won, they would have been the 3, but Portland did, so they were the 3. And Utah, because they lost, got knocked down all the way to the 5. So that would have really put some juice into that, either make the playoffs or don't. So,
yeah, I think that's a good point. I know I've mentioned this before. I mean, I'm not a big baseball guy, but I think the baseball playoffs are the best because they're the most exclusive. So, yeah. Probably followed by the NFL, I guess, because it's harder to make the playoffs. Unless it's a random year where you go 8-8, you're just in a terrible division and that wins it.
And we've seen plenty of wild cards, 5, 6 seeds win the whole deal. So if there were a bunch of 5 and 6 seeds winning this thing once every 5 or 6 years, and that'd be fine. Yeah, have 8 teams make it, but that nearly never happens.
More so than, well, I guess I don't know about hockey because I just don't follow hockey at all. But of the other 3 major sports, like the NBA is by far the most so of like if you're the best team, you're probably going to win it, and if the best team doesn't win it, it's like the 2nd best team or the 3rd best team, as opposed to, especially in the NFL where they're 1 game series or one. You lose once, you're out. Like the Giants, when they won the Super Bowl, like those years, they were good and they got hot, but I think it's safe to say they were not like one of the 4 or 5 best teams in the NFL as a whole.
Hockey playoff stacking are good because sometimes you get a Nashville as an 8 to make that run.
Or the Kings won it as an 8 seed when Jonathan Quick was in net.
So I'm fine with
still is in net.
So I'm fine with 8 teams in the NHL playoffs making it because they have proven that they can actually win the entire thing. It gave me a lot of pleasure to see Washington lose the other night. What was it, in overtime?
Yeah, yep. I saw Schottenkirk's tweet, and then he deleted it.
What did he tweet?
He said, thanks at Andy Stacken for picking the Capitals, for jinxing them. Krenz and I appreciate it. Yeesh. And then I tried to pull it up, and he removed it. But
oh, man, he backed down. He did,
down. So... little bitch, but
shots fired. Shots fired. We're getting that WWE style feud between Stacking and Shot and Kirk back
Oh
together.
boy, I'm just
It's
kidding.
the way it
Shot
should be.
Kirk.
No, that's the way.
The Monday Night Wars are coming back.
Building it up for
No,
SummerSlam here.
Unless I just couldn't find it, but I'm pretty sure it got removed. But I saw it initially, and I said, "Yeah, not good."
He should have stayed. He should have stuck behind it. What? That was only. It's 1-1, right? Isn't it? It's not.
No, the second game is tonight.
Yeah.
Oh,
Okay. Game 2 tonight. Okay. So.
Yeah.
It
So,
will be 1-1 after tonight.
Ooh,
Oh,
Wild.
Oh, I hope so.
Wild, not great. Doesn't look very good for the Wild.
They took the first game and made it worse. So they seem to be. They've been outshot. Stacking probably has the numbers. Been outshot about 85 to
87 to 38, I
Yeah.
think.
So that's not good, And they had about 6 shots in about the last 45 minutes on whatever night it was, Friday. So I think they'll play better tonight, game 3 tonight, but I think it's going to be rough. So
Yeah, this is I guess expected. I don't know what having Suter in the lineup would do. I think it would certainly help. But I mean, Winnipeg's just great. If Devin Dubnyk wasn't playing outstanding in this series, I mean, it would look even worse than it is. And apart from a 2-minute stretch in the third period in game 1, the Wild have just been
yeah, I think the main thing for me is that they can't really play the physical game with the Jets, and the Jets really don't do that either. But the Jets are winning that aspect. I mean, they need to be able to fare a little bit better with that. Hopefully, a little energy at home at least puts a little life into it. I don't think I'd be shocked if they win both of these games. I think they could steal one and at least force a game 5, but it's going to be tough. They have such a bad record in game 2s since Suter and Parise have joined the Wild since 2013. And they've been, this would be their 3rd straight first round exit, and that seems like it's almost a shoe in. So it's going to be this is going to be a very interesting offseason, and it could be coming very soon.
I think they're 5-18 in road playoff games since 2013 or something like that. So that's not good. And I don't know. It's still snowing in the cities. So do we think that the X will be a packed house tonight? Do you think people will be able to get there to the game?
Yeah.
I think so. Yeah. And Winnipeg apparently flew in today, so they're there. The game will happen. But
they flew in today?
Apparently, yeah. They couldn't. They flew last night. They got to Duluth, and their flight got directed there. They turned around, went back.
They went back to Winnipeg.
Yeah. Then
what? Why the fuck wouldn't you stay in Duluth?
Or take the bus down there? They weren't getting slammed with snow. I don't understand what the issue was there. So then this morning they flew out of Winnipeg, somehow got to Minneapolis because I thought the airport was closed. So, or maybe they flew in somewhere else. But yeah, was that's pretty surprising. But
how did the Wild get back? Did they get back Friday night or Saturday morning?
Yeah, they flew back after the game on Friday. So
okay, I was like that because it was getting snowy and dangerous there to begin with. I didn't know if they were going to be able to get back or not.
Penguins 1-1. That could be a good series. Colorado, I think, has played well Stacking against Nashville.
Yes, they have.
Competitive.
Yep. I think they're going to take one game in Colorado. I would say Nashville has not played their best, that we've know they're capable of. But I don't think there's any reason why the Predators won't win this series in 5 games.
Sharks won both on the road.
They did.
Very good. Very good.
Quite impressive. And the Knights, the Vegas Golden Knights, get behind them. Up 2-0 in their series with the Kings. I thought game 2 was great. Double overtime. Nothing's better in sports than playoff overtime hockey.
Here's the bad news, Stack. And the 2 guys that scored for Vegas both used to be Wild guys.
I know. I saw that. I saw Hala, and it's like, we could use some of that offense right now. But the Vegas had to win game 2 because the Kings were without one of their best defensemen who got suspended, I believe, for hitting game 1 or something. So so they have to win that. I think the Kings can still come back and win that series. Jonathan Quick's been playing very good. And Bruins Maple Leafs, I think the big one from that is a hit.
Angels have been, what is there, 5-6 postponements stacking?
You got to love it.
Christ.
Today?
Jesus Christ.
Bruins Maple Leafs. Maple Leafs had a big hit on a guy that was not very good, and was it Brad Marchand licked a Maple Leaf? So that was interesting.
That series has been very weird through 2 games. Every time I looked up last night, the Bruins had scored another goal.
Bang.
So that series. If it goes 6 or 7, somebody's head might fly off their torso.
Yeah.
Stacking, when you say that someone licked a maple leaf, do you mean they licked a literal maple leaf, or that one of the Bruins players licked
Licked the player.
Toronto?
He licked the Toronto Maple Leaf player.
Very odd and strange. I thought, who was the guy that in the NBA playoffs was like blowing in LeBron's face that one time?
Lance Stevenson.
Yeah, licking someone's way worse than that.
Well, yeah, but the guy didn't. He was so unfazed by it. He's just like, okay, no big deal. So very fun. And yeah, the Capitals. I don't know. That's as snake bitten of a franchise I think as you could possibly get. Or they are the Toronto Raptors of the NHL, and the Toronto Raptors are the Washington Capitals of the NBA.
Marc-Andre Fleury, I've heard of him because he played for Pittsburgh, so I like him.
Mm-hmm.
And is he the reason why Vegas is good? Because I looked at the roster. I do not know one player on this team. He appears to be just a fantastic goddamn pickup.
Well, he's playing well this year. His playoff record has not been amazing, even though he's been on the Penguins. It's a very complicated history for him.
I would say, too, that Vegas benefited from the fact that every NHL team could only protect so many players. I think, like Marcus and I talked about this last year before the expansion draft. Like, Vegas got a wide variety of selection of, really good players from every NHL team. And between that and the number of draft picks that they have, and like there's talk they're going to get this Erik Karlsson from Ottawa. He's outstanding in the offseason. So this is a team, Vegas, that will not go away. And then if the NHL does eventually get that Seattle team, Seattle is probably going to be in the same sort of boat along with Vegas, where you should expect them to be pretty good right away or relatively quickly.
They also got James Neal off of Nashville, and he was a pretty good player too.
Yep.
So
and Eric Holla from Minnesota, as you mentioned, scored that game-winning goal. He wasn't great for the Wild, but he showed flashes in the past, and we know he can score. So, they just get leftovers from the.
What is it? Everybody but 5 players, 10 players? Can they go in their minor league system? What were the parameters of this draft?
You could protect, I think, 7 or 8 players.
That's it,
Marcus.
Plus, it's a goaltender, I think.
Out of what, like 20 guys or what?
It was set up so that you could either keep a certain number of guys at each position, or you could keep less. I think it was more players, just broadly. I'll look it up real quick.
Either way, it sounds like being an expansion team in the NHL is far better than in any of the other sports, where it seems like you're just awful. Like I remember, the only one I remember recently really well was the Houston Texans, and they got Tony Baselli, who everyone thought was a big deal, and then I don't think he ever played for Houston. But other than that, it was like, oh, they got 3 other guys who were decent, but when you start 22 guys, 3 decent guys isn't enough.
And I don't remember what happened when Columbus and Minnesota came into the NHL, like how that expansion draft
I got it right here for you, Stacken. Are you ready?
Okay. Yes, I am.
Last year for the Knights, teams could protect 7 forwards, 3 defensemen, and a goaltender, or 1 goaltender and 8 skaters, regardless of position. When the Wild and the Blue Jackets came into the league, teams could protect 9, 5, and 1, or 2 goalies, 3 defensemen, and 7 forwards. So
why'd they change that so dramatically?
The rules last year actually were a little tighter than the 2000 rules, and only players with more than 2 years of professional experience, NHL or AHL, were included in the draft. Each under the rules, each of the 30 teams would lose either a top 4 defenseman man or somebody in their top 3 lines forwards. So
it was a deal where everyone, the first round, you had to pick somebody from every team, wasn't it? So let's say somebody picked somebody from Detroit. That meant you couldn't pick somebody for Detroit again,
right,
until the next round.
And the way it was also like it was set up, I don't know the exact rules of this, but they kind of, if you made a trade with them, you could kind of get out of having to give up a guy, or you could work out a deal. Somehow the Wild ended up giving up 2 guys, and they're both on Vegas's line now, so that sucked. But a lot of teams were trying to cut a deal to sort of limit the damage if they could, and that helped Vegas as well. So,
and NHL teams a little bit more open to it when you have a $550 million expansion fee that gets divided amongst the other 30 teams. So
yeah, we'll take it.
It's a lot more money, and I think Seattle's fee is gonna top north of $600 million, I believe.
What's Seattle's team mascot nickname gonna be?
Oh, I swear I saw.
Is it gonna start with an S? Does it have to start with an S?
I would hope so.
I hope it's fishermen.
I think it's the totems. I think I saw an article.
No,
that's bad. That is a bad.
I know.
That's like you're going out of your way to try to make a bad nickname.
Totems?
The best one that I'm not sure they would go with is Sasquatch. Seattle Sasquatch.
Ooh, I like that. Sasquatch is
that would be a great logo, and I'm guessing great uniforms too. So
something fish related, maybe.
Yeah,
we could just take the guy who was the Jack's Link Sasquatch, and then just have it so he's walking, but he's turned and he's got a menacing look on his face.
Seattle Salmon.
What about this? How about the Seattle Northwest Stars?
No.
It's still fresh. It's still really fresh.
It still digs at me.
25 years later.
The Seattle 1990s flannel shirt wearing punk rockers.
Seattle Nirvana.
Yeah.
Seattle.
Here it is. Seals, Totems, the Kraken.
I don't think this is serious, Stack.
Okay. No. They're just saying that there's 13 potential names.
I would much rather have of all of them. I like Sasquatch the best. Kraken, I think, wouldn't be bad, but would be harder to explain to some people.
I'm just looking. This was something. There's according to a report by Clark Rasmussen at DetroitHockey.net. 38
seems reputable.
Yeah, potentially. I'm just reading what I'm finding here online. 38 domains representing 13 potential team names were registered by a lawyer representing Oakview Group, which I believe is their. Anyway, here are the names: Seattle Cougars, Seattle Eagles, the Emeralds, Evergreens.
I like that.
Evergreens or Emeralds?
Both.
Okay.
Emeralds.
Firebirds, Kraken, the Rainiers. Or the Rainiers? I don't know.
That Mount Rainier, isn't that in Washington?
Yep. Renegades, Sea Lions, Seals, Sockeyes, Totems, and Whales.
A lot of those aren't very good.
I like those middle. I like those first couple.
Don't pick the Eagles. I would say don't pick one that there's already 4 professional teams and a whole bunch of big name colleges with that nickname already.
The Emeralds, that's where it's at. The Emeralds.
I like Traxler's Sasquatch. I think they should do Sasquatch.
How about the Space Needles? Okay. I'm gonna put a link to this here because there's something they have a logo with the Seattle Kraken and it looks outstanding. Take a look at that. Big fan of this.
Take a look at it.
Yep.
Kraken. Seattle Totems, Cougars. Are they going to be green? I assume green team.
Well,
Seattle Freeze. I like the Freeze.
No, that. Are you looking at the?
Yeah, it's not bad.
It's got the Supersonic logo.
It's basically Sonic. Have they decided on colors yet?
No,
I don't know, but
they don't even have a team technically yet. So
right,
well, it's likely, right?
It's likely.
Yes.
I like
Kraken
yeah,
logo's not bad.
I'd go with that if that's what it is. That's count me in on that.
Yep.
I like all that. The baseball had a lot of heavy favorites today because the pitching matchups are out of whack. The Mets, big favorite over Milwaukee. One of the largest favorites I think we'll see all year. Fat Bart taking on Verlander. That is, they have Houston at upwards of minus 315 as a favorite, which is very obscene. Angels, Royals was postponed. Ohtani was supposed to pitch. They were a large favorite. Yankees against Detroit.
It's also
Cleveland
because
against
the Royals suck too. So
Royals are bad too. Angels are pretty good. Indians, Blue Jays postponed again, and that was a huge favorite there. Baltimore was a huge underdog. They're up 1-0 in the fifth. Dodgers have been trashed. Despite that, they're a large favorite against Arizona. So a lot of big favorites here today. Half of them have been postponed. Disappointing for that.
good week for the Phillies. Good week for the Phillies.
Phillies? Did you pick the Phillies?
Yeah. Yep. Me and Schottenkirk both picked them.
Look at you. You were picking the Phillies there. Phillies look good. Braves look good. Braves stacking. You see what the Braves did yesterday?
Yeah, they had about a 10-1 lead and pissed that down their legs in the eighth inning.
Wow.
Man, that's got to be the most embarrassing collapse in Atlanta sports history.
They didn't give up 9 runs in the eighth inning. It was, I think, it was like 10-4. But I see what you did there too, and you're right. That is the most embarrassing thing ever.
That's bad. That's one of the all-timers right there. We got a question. Yes.
Do you think 500 people in Atlanta gave a shit about that game yesterday?
No.
Okay. There were barely 500 people at Wrigley.
So next week is our NFL draft show? Will that coordinate?
I believe so. Yeah.
Yep.
So it's when is the draft? Thursday, Friday, Saturday?
Thursday, Friday, Saturday, live from Dallas.
That's right. I forgot that it's not always in New York now.
So I suppose we should peruse that next week, I guess. So we'll probably do a noon show or whatever next week, and NFL draft, and we'll figure out figure out our draft order. We can go from there.
Let's try and get 25% of the draft picks right this year.
That's probably easier said.
4? I think
that's a tall order. That's like asking for 215 seeds to make the Elite Eight.
No, that's 8 out of 32.
I mean, if we could get like half of that.
Yeah. I would say 4 out of 32. Yeah, that'd be
to get 8 out of 32. We basically would need to get the first 5 picks right.
Yeah.
And if you get the first 5 right, you might be able to get 3 others randomly. But if you only get like the first 2 right, there's like no way you're going to get 8 then.
I think it's going to be difficult to get the first pick right potentially. I mean, we would assume it's going to be Sam Darnold, but it's the Browns, so they could go Barkley or Allen.
Who knows?
What the Giants?
This is a year where I really wish that Al Davis was still alive and the Raiders had the number 1 pick just to see what they would do.
I think it'd be Josh Allen. Well, Giants are at number 2, and that's number 2 pick. We really don't know.
They apparently like Barkley. That's
what
I saw on the bottom of a TV show the other day.
It would make sense to me to take the defensive end because they got rid of a defensive end. So they replace him with another defensive end.
I think it's going to be Bradley Chubb.
Jets. Who's picking 3?
The Jets, and I think it's going to be Josh Rosen.
The Jets will take a quarterback there, and then the Browns will take. I mean, the Browns got if it's Chubb and Barkley, will one of them be there at 4?
Yes.
Considering number 1 and 3 are quarterbacks, I mean that's pretty good.
I like the idea of after getting Myles Garrett to also getting Bradley Chubb for the Browns and just being like, you know what? We've got 2 young defensive ends that in theory are going to be really good for a long time. And if we're going to be good at one thing, it's going to be rushing the passer for the next 7 years.
I wonder if they would go if, let's say, Barkley is gone at, if Barkley's taken at 2 there. I wonder if they would go that Quentin Nelson, that guard from Notre Dame, at 4.
You can't be taking a guard at 4. I mean, that's ridiculous.
I don't know enough about the Browns' offensive line. I know that Joe Thomas is retired now, but he's a tackle.
Nelson won't last past 6 to the Colts. That's my
really.
Yep.
How about the Colts take a quarterback?
Why? They got that guy with a broken shoulder.
Yeah, that guy that may never play again. How's
the guy who's not throwing a football? Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, disappointment.
You got Jacoby Brissett. He's very good.
I'd play him. Yeah, I'd play him.
The Reds and Airmark are giving away free hot chocolate.
Wow, how kind
the Red Sox.
I'm sure that hot chocolate cost him $5.
Aramark, the highest quality of food known to mankind.
How much, Stacken, how much world's finest chocolate did you sell in the 3rd grade?
Next to nothing.
I mean, what is there? Charles, I mean, I'm sure this was we all had a presentation on this shit. Is this? I don't. Is this?
So they actually.
Is that something from Aramark? Because I don't specifically remember a world's finest chocolate.
What did you?
The 2 things I remember the most is I was in Boy Scouts for a brief period of time, and actually sold enough popcorn to get a bow and arrow or an archery thing. But they never gave it to me because the person in charge quit, and it was just you don't get this stuff now. So I'm always kind of bitter with the Boy Scouts about that. And then but the other thing I remember was for baseball, selling those candy bars for $1 that were essentially Crunch bars, but they were called something else because they were knockoffs. And just going around with this box of candy bars that I would, since I got an allowance, I wasn't loaded as a 10-year-old, but would occasionally get a few bucks, would come home and it's Charlie, there's 3 candy bars missing that aren't accounted for. Be I ate a mouse on your
I remember we sold those in band, and there was never a presentation. It was just here's your box. Here's your box.
Yeah, we didn't get a presentation ever either.
Yeah, and I remember that it was I don't know if I ever even had a whole box because I knew I wasn't going to sell very many, and even the ones that I did sell, or the ones that we sold were mostly we just bought to keep at home. We maybe bought 10 or 15 and just called it good. But I was always partial to the caramel ones. I thought those were good. I remember the crunch ones being good. That was about it. So,
Stacken, did you have a presentation?
I've never been to a presentation.
Oh, what a shot. Turning the game on me like a son of a gun. Go to the air bubble at presentation. Have a spring game.
Right, so now I'm curious. What did your presentation entail?
Did
they give you a PowerPoint with skits and all excited stuff? Or
we'd had this a couple of times. The first one, I believe, was 2nd, 3rd grade. They wanted us to sell stuff for a new playground, and people did that. And obviously, it was for the playground a year or 2 later that we never got to use. So that was weird. And they did it again for something else. There was this guy probably in his 60s. He got up there and here's the chocolates, and if you sell $100, you get this. If you sell $1 million, you get a new car, and all of this. So whatever, how you sold more and more candy and more chocolate, you got better prizes. And I remember one in middle school. I think a bunch of people just made fun of the guy, oh, you get this thing, and oh yeah, and they're just don't give a shit at all. So that's what we have for presentations.
For Boy Scouts, they were just here's this catalog, and if you sell this much, this is what you get. You can figure it out yourself.
For FFA, they had the oranges and the grapefruits and a bunch of stuff there.
That's good stuff to sell. People actually want that.
I sold a lot of that. I sold many monies of that. Do we have a Noah Stacken update?
He's still coughing a lot.
Is he sick? Is this his first sickness?
This is his first sickness. He's had a cough for, I think, we're over 2 weeks now. But
take him to the doctor. What's the doctor say?
The doctor said that he had a mild case of croup, which is a nasty cough in infants, but he's getting better. He's getting better. And
is he sleeping at the moment?
He is not even here right now. He is getting coffee.
Stacken, how did you let the baby out of your side?
I don't know. that's what happens when Kelsey just takes him. I can't keep it.
Where'd they go?
They went to go get coffee with a friend. I was gonna be on baby duty, and then the friend's like, "Bring Noah. I want to see Noah." I'm like,
Bring the kid. There we go.
You gotta just remember this, Stackin. The coffee now will put hair on his chest.
That's very true.
Does he have his first pubic area? Yes or
no? No, he does not.
Okay. It appears you have a piece of paper. I assume you have a trivia question.
I am working on it right now. So,
I got one that I think is just a goddamn great fucking question. I think it is.
Of course you do.
Good. I like good questions.
I love.
You can say you said great. I like great questions even.
Like
better.
a top 5 all-time fucking questions.
Hey, I asked you last week if you had your mock NFL schedules for the Vikings. Did you get that?
Yeah. When is this coming up? What is it? Thursday? You said
it's like Tuesday, Wednesday, or Thursday. No one knows for sure.
Yeah, it is dumb. Stupid as fuck. One of the dumbest fucking things all year.
I love it.
So what I need. So what? Like I would be interested in just doing like the Monday and Sunday games. That'd be fine.
I already came out with mine. I
Is
don't
it
know
going to be in the vlog next week? I assume.
Yes. Yeah. We'll do.
This is just the Viking schedule.
Just the Viking schedule. Yes.
Tickle my taint. Give us a preview.
All right. So the last 2 years they have.
You got 1 or 2 right.
Yes. Last year I got 1 right, and that was the Week 13 game at Atlanta. They have put the Vikings at Green Bay in Week 16 each of the last 2 years. Marcus
can't be 3 in a row.
Marcus just left. Nope, I can't see that. They have them Chicago at home the last week of the season each of the last 2 years. I don't see that happening. I know I'm going to get 1 right for sure because I have them playing Philadelphia Week 1 in Philadelphia. I believe they will play Green Bay on Thanksgiving night at home.
Ooh, intrigued. Very intrigued.
So give me that. I have them playing at Chicago in December because you got to have a cold weather game for them. So I just telling you, I have them ending the season at Detroit. They always play or it seems lately they've played an AFC team at home late in the season. So Miami is coming up to Minnesota Week 16.
Very exciting.
Let's see what else. I gave them 1 Monday night game to Detroit at home. That's Week 2. And they're at New England on Sunday night, Week 10. And New Orleans, a rematch at 3:25 p.m. Central Time on Fox, Week 9. After their bye.
When do they officially release the schedule?
Tuesday, Wednesday, or Thursday.
This is one of the few times where I will slightly care about it because my parents both, Dad retired, Mom semi-retired. I guess there's some like base or something in Louisiana that like they're sending people overseas or something and they need someone to take over for a few months. So I guess my parents will be in Louisiana. I'm just going to say, Saints game. Let's look and see who the Saints play and when they'll be there. And I looked it up and forgot that they are weird about the NFL schedule. And it was like, they haven't released it yet.
Right. I know we know who they play, so it really doesn't bear anything on that. But it's just nice. I like to know, what the primetime games are. Do they end at home? How many late kickoff games do we have? Because they have 2 games on the West Coast this year against the Rams and the Seahawks. Will those be at 3, or were they going to put those at night? And I bored Marcus to death. He just had to leave.
Yeah, I don't know where he went.
Crying shame.
Breaking news. Traxler had to cover quick.
I assume, 3. I'll hold off on the trivia question until we know.
Is a trivia question weather related?
No.
Because
Ooh, that would be good though. Can you name?
Chris has one. I couldn't do this. I don't know if I'm going to do this, but I thought it would be fun to do stack-ins, pick a number 1 through 50. Although instead of 50, maybe I just do like 25, and then just give like each person an over/under of the record snowfall in like 25 states.
There we go.
I like that. Interesting though. What the hell? Where was I going with this? Oh yeah, we could. You know what's stupid? Naming winter storms. Like I get it for hurricanes, but naming winter storms is done. This was like Xingtao or something like that.
This one was?
Yeah.
With
With
an
an X. The X.
I did not turn into the Weather Channel one time. I do not. I went with the local stations.
I didn't either. Although I should say, I guess the snow affected me enough that they were like, you don't need to come into work. And I just covered the Bandits away game from home because if I'm just going to listen to it and watch the live stream online, I can do that the same at work or at home because I'm not there in person either way because it was in Kansas.
Stay at home?
So I stayed at home. It was kind of weird where it was just like, yeah, I guess I'll start working now.
I like it. Anything else, Stack?
Well, let's see. No, I don't think so.
What do you make of Kawhi Leonard and the Spurs? I don't know what this is.
So, well, I saw a tweet from our favorite media member, Skip Bayless, and he said,
a very reputable.
He said, "Thanks, Kawhi," and I was like, "Are you just saying thanks because he's not playing in the series against the Warriors, and that's why San Antonio got their doors blown off?" Like, I don't really get what he's going at here. Kawhi, like, this makes him look very bad, doesn't it?
I don't know what this is. What it's his thigh injury, right?
I don't. Yeah,
I don't know why this took so. I don't know. Him doing rehabbing on his own, and it seems like a very odd deal that we don't know enough about of why this is going on.
Yeah, it's a baffling. But I don't think anyone really knows, and Popovich is kind of tight-lipped about it.
Very odd. It's looking. Minneapolis area could be getting some snow here.
That's why I wonder if there is any chance that the Wild game might get postponed. I can't imagine it would, but you never know.
I think we're good to go here.
Oh, let's see.
What's your question involve?
It's regarding it has playoff teams in.
How many states have both playoff teams?
Well, it's something along those lines.
Well, we'll do one here. Charlie. 80s. This is an NBA question. Here he is. All right, we're back. Back and ready to go. Latest reports from the courthouse. What do we got? Nothing. Courthouse still closed on a Sunday, no less. Charlie's picking, 80s, 90s, 2000s, or 2010. So the decades, Charlie. NBA-related question. Pick a decade.
Pick any decade.
As long as it's 80s, 90s.
Of those 4 decades.
2000s.
Well, 3. Yeah.
NBA-related.
Let's go the 2000s, the 20-aughts.
20-aughts.
I missed this. So what is the format, or what the hell's going on here?
You didn't miss anything.
Yeah, but what is the format of this game?
It's just a simple name. Then give me an answer.
And if you get it wrong, you're done, basically?
Just any NBA thing. You can just name any NBA thing.
Okay.
Purple jersey.
The Brawl at the Palace. That's
Bam.
my thing I named.
10 points for that. So 2000s is what you pick. So this goes from 2000 to 2009. MVPs in that time, 2000 to 2009. Guys that received a first place MVP vote. First place MVP vote. So some dipshit gave some guys at least a first place vote.
So even one first place vote this is the overall MVP, not the NBA Finals MVP.
No, this is the regular season title. So it starts at the 99-2000 season, since they awarded it, in spring, summer of 2000. It ends with the
08-09 season.
09, because the next one would be 2010, the next decade.
Gotcha. So anyone over a 10-year period that received at least one first place vote.
99, 2000, 08, 09 received at least one first place MVP vote. MVP Charlie Marcus Stack. You got one strike.
I feel like the easiest way to start is to go with guys that either won an MVP for sure, or I'm pretty darn sure won an MVP before I start going obscure guys. So, I mean, first, I guess I'll go with LeBron James.
LeBron James. Everybody gets a strike. Marcus.
Wait, so that was correct though, right?
That was correct. LeBron James.
The way you said everybody gets a strike made me think that maybe that was not correct.
Somebody has given LeBron James a first place MVP vote in that time period.
I'll go with Kevin Garnett.
Kevin Garnett won it. Look at him. Nathan stacking.
I will say Shaquille O'Neal.
Shaquille O'Neal. You got it.
I will say the guy who Shaquille asked how his anus tasted. I will go with Kobe Bryant.
Kobe Bryant, Colorado. We love you. Marcus.
Dirk Nowitzki.
Nowitzki won it.
Dwayne Wade.
Dwayne Wade. He received a vote. Where's Dwayne Wade? I hope. Yep, I think so. Yep, there he is.
I will go with Captain Stepover, who's still haunting Tyrone Lue today, with Allen Iverson.
Allen Iverson. Killing folks.
I'll go with Tim Duncan.
Tim Duncan. Yes.
Damn, I was going to go with AI.
Maybe one or two more rounds, then we start getting into the folks here. Yeah.
Put him on the clock.
The echo appears to be back.
Saved by the echo. Hey, look at that.
Hey.
We're back from the echo, stacking.
Yep.
MVP vote. 8 down.
I'm going to go get my strike here, but I'll say Ben Wallace.
Ben Wallace, count it.
And the foul.
Wait, Ben Wallace? Ben Wallace received first place MVP votes?
Somebody, it may have just been one, I think. Somebody thought during one season Ben Wallace was the MVP.
Wow, this changes everything. My bar for who I have to say has dropped dramatically. Well, now I feel a lot more confident in being like, well, I'm pretty sure Chris Webber did.
Is that your guess?
Yep, Chris Webber.
Chris Webber on the list. Going deep.
I was briefly a Kings fan for a few years, so.
I'll go with Jason Kidd.
He was a guy. Where the hell did he go? Yep. There he is.
That means Chauncey Billups.
Yep.
I will go with the greatest dunk champion ever in Vince Carter.
Not on the list.
Oh.
What?
Not on it.
Ben Wallace is on the list, but Vince Carter isn't?
You take a peek at what old Vince Carter's got going on here.
I will go with Tracy McGrady.
Who's that?
Tracy McGrady.
Tracy McGrady's on the list. Yep.
That was my next one. Damn it. I will go with Steve Nash.
Nash, he won multiples. Yep. Vince Carter finished 10th in 2000. 11th the next year. That might have been it for him.
Well, now I got to think harder because I was pretty confident that I had a few before I would start getting into this territory. But let's see.
98, 99, he did not. He got a couple votes that year. He got one vote.
I will say, oh man, I'm going to go with Carmelo Anthony.
No.
No. Well, it wouldn't be the Sports Lounge if Charlie didn't go out first. So
He's not on my list.
I'm going to go with Chris Paul.
Basketball player or coach?
Basketball player.
He's on the list.
Reggie Miller on this list?
No.
Okay.
No one for you?
Yeah, that's one for me. Everybody gets one, like Spider-Man.
There's one guy on this list that's kind of like, what? Come on. Come on. What are we doing?
yeah, and it's not Ben Wallace.
Well, he's among them. He could be in that mix. Potentially for the win here.
I'm going to say
Potentially for the win.
Tony Parker.
Yeah. Well, no.
No.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 guys left. One of them is not Tony Parker.
God damn it. They're all not Tony Parker, you're saying?
All of them are not. 7 to go, stacking to stay alive. 7 left.
Karl Malone.
No.
Nah. Well,
Marcus wins with the strike.
Can I guess one?
I will guess Amari Stoudemire for the win.
Just to make it good there. Amari Stoudemire's on the list. Charlie?
I don't know if this guy's on the list. If I would have gotten down to I had no clue, I might have guessed this guy because he would have been late in his career after a couple brief retirements. Did Michael Jordan get a first place vote in the 2000s?
He did not. He did not.
Could have.
There's one guy on here who's pretty. His name's Kevin Durant. He's good.
He got one, huh?
Yeah.
Didn't know.
Dwight Howard.
So like like 07, 08 would have been Durant's first year in the NBA.
09.
all these years just blend together.
Dwight Howard, Elton Brand. Charlie was the guy. Elton Brand.
Elton Brand. I had completely forgotten about Elton Brand's existence.
Jermaine O'Neal.
I had forgotten about Jermaine O'Neal's existence.
I was on the right track with the Pacers. I just picked the wrong guy.
Old guy Gary Payton.
Doggone it. I was going to say him, too.
Another one of Charlie's guys.
Is it Peja Stojakovic?
Peja Stojakovic.
I thought about guessing him early, and then because I'm bad at these trivia games now, I think of guys, and then I completely forget about him one round later.
Here's what we're doing. It's Charlie and stacking with another year. Winner goes on to face Marcus.
Okay.
Well, so since I picked the first one, stacking picks this time.
80s, 90s, 2010s. Stacking.
2000, let's go. Ooh. Let's go the 2000. Let's go the 90s.
Jesus Christ. Okay, the 90s. There's 17 sons of bitches. Charlie.
I will go with Michael Jordan.
Michael Jordan. Stacking.
Shaquille O'Neal.
Shaquille O'Neal. Yep.
Charles Barkley.
Chuck Barkley on the list.
Oh, let's go with Hakeem Olajuwon.
Olajuwon, yes.
I will go with the Rain Man, Sean Kemp.
No Kemp. No Kemp.
Man. Maybe I'm thinking too hard about like NBA Jam games. And I
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
of.
NBA Jam. Think about the NBA Jam.
How about Gary Payton?
NBA Live 95. Gary Payton on the list.
I will take one of Sackin's ones from the last one, and I will say Reggie Miller in the 90s.
No.
Never in the 90s?
What?
Man.
People are stunned.
That's ridiculous.
Stacking one more for shits and giggles.
Yeah, let's pull out.
Well, Stackett needs one to get the win, right? I mean, he could technically miss two in a row.
One more to see if you finish with a striker.
Penny Hardaway.
Penny Hardaway on the list.
Penny Hardaway's on the list, but Reggie Miller is. I guess Penny Hardaway was pretty good for.
I was the Magic fan until Shaq left. Screw them.
Dennis Scott was your godfather.
He was.
Other notables: Karl Malone, Tim Duncan, Allen Iverson, Jason Kidd, Alonzo Mourning, David Robinson,
John Stockton,
Ewing, Pippen, Stockton, Aids Johnson, Clyde Drexler. It's a Stackin' Traxler rivalry renewed.
So I guess Traxler gets to pick first now,
Marcus.
or gets to pick which decade?
2010s or the 80s for the title?
2010s.
Fuck that. We're doing 80s. Okay.
Okay, all right. We're doing the 80s then.
2010s. There's only 12 of them.
Good.
Marcus?
Looks like we'll be using the 80s as the tiebreaker, huh?
That could be. Very
I
well
will
could be.
go with LeBron James.
LeBron James.
Steph Curry.
Nope.
It's odd considering he won it.
He won it with all second
He
place.
didn't get any. He didn't get any. A bunch of 2s and 3s.
Stacking, you didn't pronounce it right. That's why it's wrong. You have to say Stephanie Curry
Stefan?
because he only shoots threes.
Stefania.
I will go with Kevin Durant.
Ain't. Got it.
Boy, let's say James Harden.
Yep. Where the hell's he at?
Russell Westbrook.
No, timeout. I don't think so. James Harden, no.
I got dibs on that Russell Westbrook answer.
Yeah, Russell Westbrook. Harden's not on.
Harden's never had a first place vote.
That's stupid.
That seems crazy.
It
I mean,
does
I'm not
seem-
saying you're wrong, Corinne. I'm saying it seems weird that at least one person wasn't like, you know what, we're going to go with this guy.
No, correction, he was. He was.
Oh,
Thank God.
Downtown.
It didn't seem right to me. Didn't seem right. You said Westbrook.
Staying with Westbrook, so it's still
Westbrook.
still Stacking's turn.
Oh, I will say Kobe Bryant.
Kobe Bryant. Yep. Colorado Bryant. Marcus.
Derrick Rose.
Derrick Rose. Knees Rose. Got it.
Oh.
Fuzzy-headed Rose. Free throws Rose. Chicago Rose. Kalahari Rose. Minnesota.
What the hell up?
Rectum. Hell, damn near killed him.
Rectum.
Rectum Rose. That's got a nice ring to it.
Not on the list. Not on the list, Rectum.
Chris Paul.
He's got a vote. Yep. 5 to go before we crack into those 80s, boys. Now we're talking some random bastards.
Carmelo.
Carmelo Anthony got a vote. Former good player. 4 to go.
Why did he get a vote?
Here's what it was. I wrote Carmelo Anthony down twice instead of James Harden. That's where the mistake therein lies. 1, 2, 3. 3 to go.
Dirk Nowitzki.
Nope.
What?
You blew it.
Well, to be fair, Stack, and of all the ones that haven't been on the list compared to that, I mean, I don't know if Dirk in the 2010s is as shocking as some of the other ones that haven't been on there.
That's so true.
Dwight Howard.
He's a guy. Yep, 2 to go. Stacking.
I should have stuck with my Dwight Howard thought.
Keep your Johnson intact.
Stacking, don't guess Nate Walters.
D-League MVP.
Duly noted. Kawhi Leonard.
Yes. 1 to go, or else we're going to the 80s. Stacking's got a strike. Marcus doesn't.
How many did you say there were?
12.
I only got 10 written down here.
2. LeBron James, Kevin Durant, Dwight Howard, Derrick Rose, Kobe Bryant, Chris Paul, Carmelo Anthony, Curry, Harden, Westbrook, Leonard.
I don't know what I'm missing here. Anyway.
I suppose you could get it wrong and Stacking would have to guess, and if he gets it wrong, that's 2 on him, I suppose.
Why don't I guess the guy I guessed earlier and say Tony Parker?
Bam!
All right. Good.
Got it.
Congratulations.
So you still got 1 strike left.
Yeah, so we're going to the 80s. We're
We
going
need
to
2
the 80s.
strikes to lose, so we're going to the 80s. God damn. There's 25 of them. Jesus Christ.
Jesus Christ.
A lot of them I've never heard of.
Good. So this
And
is
a twist. Charlie's back in the game. Bam.
Yeah!
I'm perfectly fine with that.
Nathan, you go.
Oh,
Stacking.
great. Yeah.
1980s basketball.
Can you dig it?
No strikes for Marcus, 1 strike for Marcus.
Channel all the inner ESPN 30 for 30s.
I'm trying. I know.
Right now.
Kevin McHale.
Do you have 1 strike, Marcus?
I don't have a strike.
All right. Kevin McHale?
Starting with Kevin.
That's very interesting for I could see it being on the list.
No,
But that's an odd
no.
first
I
guess.
He didn't get it.
I
You're
just couldn't think of any of these Celtics.
Couldn't think of any of these
Couldn't
guys.
think of Larry Bird, who is
Oh my God! What the
Charlie,
hell am I doing?
Charlie's
Oh.
Really?
You know what? I'm going to let Traxler stick with his Larry Bird. I'm going to guess Corinne's favorite player, Magic AIDS Johnson.
AIDS Johnson.
Ugh.
Believe it or not, received an MVP vote.
Apparently, that wasn't somebody. Those weren't the first 2 people Stacking thought about when he thought about basketball.
Yeah.
Larry Bird.
Stacking did the equivalent of name the most populated state in the U.S. And he's like, I don't know, Michigan? And it's like, well, yeah, I mean,
Illinois?
it's got a lot of people, but
Charlie?
You know the NBA is not my Matt Forte, so
Ooh, we're going deep. Going deep. 2002 Carolina basketball. Charlie?
it's not Stacking's turn.
I'm
Who's
out.
You're out?
Oh, his strikes didn't start over this last one?
Nope.
No.
All right, well, so we've got the 2 80s icons guessed first. I guess I will go with Michael Jordan again.
Michael Jordan, yep. Marcus.
Moses Malone.
Moses Malone, 1-1, yep.
I will go with a Julius Irving, PhD.
Doctor, dentist, got it.
Patrick Ewing.
Yep, he's the guy.
If Ewing's a guy, I'm assuming Hakeem Olajuwon would also be a guy then. So
Also,
I'll go
guy.
Hakeem Olajuwon.
You did it.
Charles Barkley.
Yep.
I will go with Jason Hove's favorite player, George Gervin.
Jason, oh my heavens. Yes.
Dominique Wilkins.
Yes.
I will try Ralph Sampson.
No.
Kareem Abdul-Jabbar.
Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. Story on this: best friend in school. Like we were in like the second grade. We were doing something. He pronounced Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. It's kind of Abdul was just all. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar.
That's great.
So, like, Kareem, who? Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. Is that right? Oh. Okay.
Just try Lou Alcindor, kid, huh?
Yeah, fuck.
Yeah. I will go with Isaiah Thomas.
Ooh, yes.
That was a good one. That was a back pocket answer for yours.
We're getting down to them here. There's a lot left, but really there's not a lot left. Strike for Charlie.
Well, I will put it right between Stacken's eyes, and I will say Robert Parrish.
Yes. The other guy.
Let's see.
There's one guy here that's pretty good. The rest are, you know. This ain't gonna last much longer.
I have quickly run out of guys in the 80s. I don't want to guess Kurt Rambis, so I guess I will guess James Worthy instead.
Valiant guess. Reasonable guess.
Not on there.
Not on the list.
I'm not shocked because even though he was like really good, he was still like the third best player on their team.
Marcus, just to close it out.
Clyde Drexler?
No.
Oh.
Karl Malone was the guy in this year that was good.
Karl Malone. That was the other one I wanted to guess. I was just sticking with Dream Team guys.
Good.
So
Bernard King.
George Bernard Shaw?
Yes, CNN Zone. You got a bunch of shit here. You got Terry Cummings, Adrian Dantley, some guy named Jeff Ruland.
Oh yeah, Jeff Ruland, yeah.
Sidney Moncrief, Gus Williams, some guy named Kelvin Rancy.
Mm-hmm.
Never in my life.
Remember him? Yeah, he's big time.
You don't remember old Rancid Rancy?
Dennis Johnson, Marquise Johnson, some guy named Dan Roundfield. Fuck me and Dan Roundfield. And Tiny Archibald, just for the shits and the giggles. Nathan, do you have something with the PL?
I do. Should not shock you how this goes.
Geography related.
It is geography related, of course.
Name the counties these teams are in.
Yes,
Mecklenburg County.
Which counties have produced the most Stanley Cup MVP winners?
There are two different variations here. We can either do cities where playoff teams are at, or just give me states and you have to name all the playoff teams, and we do it point wise.
That second one.
What?
Okay. So, like the first one, I would just want the city where every playoff team is at,
Okay.
or you can do which would have more answers, or we'll just go state wise and like point wise. You have to count. You have to tell me how many playoff teams are in.
So
Okay.
This is like in every sport of the four major sports.
No, just the two NBA and NHL going on right now.
Okay.
God's
So
sake.
it would hypothetically be Alaska. There's two: the Anchorage Ankiners and the Juneau Juniors.
Junior.
What
By
is,
the way,
what is the mascot for the Juneau Juniors, by the way?
It is a.
Hold on, I
It's-
gotta let the
it's
dog
the-
out.
It's the baby from Who's Talking or Look Who's Talking.
Maybe there's a salesman at the door.
Excuse me, sir. Come back tomorrow.
It's probably a little kid at the door selling dollar candy bars to build
All right,
the
here's your
baseball
question.
field.
Here's a question to waste time. To waste time. You know, with politics and all arguing back and forth and all that stuff.
Politics and the people
And
and
the politics and then the racists and all this shit. how much of it has to do with there's a lot of sources out there, good sources, bad sources, but you just focus on the good sources. Or if we want to argue a point back and forth, I can argue my point with all of these facts and stuff to where beforehand you couldn't do that. Like, 80s, 70s, whatever. You couldn't do that because you didn't have an unlimited amount of resources to back up your point. And if you wanted to do that, you had to actually be face-to-face. You couldn't do it over Twitter or Facebook or this here. How much of it is that? Is that all of it?
I don't know what you're
75% of it.
I feel like that's
Well,
all.
65% of it. 70%. It's a lot. It's more than half of it.
Because back in the day, if you wanted to get into a political discussion with somebody,
You had to be a scholar.
it literally had to be face-to-face or, I suppose, over the phone.
I guess you could do it through mail, but it would take a long time that way.
Do it through mail. And you had you had to have, you had to know what the fuck you were talking about. And the only resources you had was a newspaper or a magazine or,
A library book.
an encyclopedia or something. Now you just type it in, and there it is.
Boop, boop, boop.
You decide what you want to talk about, and you can do it on Twitter, email, Facebook. Instantly happen. That's what I think.
Yeah, that's what I think too.
Good.
What the hell is going on? Let's get on with it.
Celtics winning this year. Celtics up by 7. Good.
Yep, they're up by 7 with 7 minutes left.
And it's 70-something to 70-something.
Sevens are wild.
In the first game of a 7-game series.
Now they have to play into the 7th overtime.
Yeah. What's the longest NBA overtime? I know in college basketball, I don't know if it was the longest, but there was like Syracuse and UConn,
Oh,
in
6.
the Big East tournament that went 6. Has there been an NBA game that's had that many overtimes?
Yeah, at least 3.
I think there's been 1 or 2 that have gone 4, maybe 5.
I would say I've heard of 4, or at least I can think of times there have been 4, or I remember seeing 4.
And I don't think
There
it's
was a
happened.
6. 1951, the Indianapolis Olympians and the Rochester Royals played 6 overtimes.
Sports. Come on.
Indianapolis won in a 4-hour game, 75-73.
Oh my God, it was 6 overtimes, and neither of them got to 75.
Yeah, 1951. So
We've
that's
not had a 5 overtime game in almost 30 years. 4 overtimes in 2017, 2015, and 2012.
2015.
Yeah.
Who was
Pistons
that?
over the Bulls 4 overtimes.
Who
in
pissed?
Chicago. Pistons beat them 147-144.
Like
That was
3
in
years
December.
ago? 4 years ago?
That was in December. And then January 29th, 2017, Hawks over the Knicks 142-139, 4 overtimes. So
Yeah. Already stacking?
I am. There are 22 answers here to this shindig. This is,
8.
and provinces.
Oh, fuck me.
So, we will start Charlie, Marcus, Travis. You give me a state and the teams in there, and good luck.
I'm going first. I will guess Texas.
Okay.
I will go with the Houston Rockets, the San Antonio Spurs, and the Dallas Stars.
Well, you got the NBA squads right. Dallas Stars did not make the postseason. So,
What are you doing, Dallas?
So you got the state right. You got the 2 cities, but you gave me an extra, so you get 2 points for that. So I'm subtracting for a wrong answer.
Oh, if I would have known that, I wouldn't have guessed anymore then. That's fine, stacking. I can live with that.
Fix is in.
All right, Marcus.
I will go with Philadelphia, or Pennsylvania
Mm-hmm.
State, and I believe they have 3 teams in the playoffs. That would be the 76ers, the Penguins, and the Flyers.
That is correct. 4 points. Maybe? Yes. Right here. Okay.
Ontario has the Maple Leafs and the Raptors.
Well done.
That they do.
What?
That they do, sir.
Charlie.
I will go with the state that's near and dear to stacking. I will say Minnesota, and I will go with the Timberwolves and the Wild, and that's it.
Correct. 3 points for you.
Yeah, it's all fucked up. It's all fucked up. Yeah. MLB TV buffers too much. Freezes too much.
Welcome to the club.
Fuck this shit.
Marcus, you're up.
I will go with the state of Massachusetts, which currently has the Bruins and Celtics.
You are right. 3 points for you.
Ohio has Columbus Blue Jackets, Cleveland Cavaliers.
Well done.
Nailed it.
Well done. Charlie.
I will go with the state of California.
California.
I will take the Golden State Warriors, the San Jose Sharks, and there might be more, but that's all I'm going to guess.
Oh,
Okay. You missed out on the Ducks and the Kings, but you do get 3 points. Marcus.
I will go with I guess I'm going with the District of Columbia. It has both the Capitals and the Wizards, really, in the playoffs.
That is correct.
Go with Florida and say the Lightning and the Heat.
Yep. That sounds like a winner in my book.
Well, I was going to guess Florida, and I got to think of a different state. I will guess Wisconsin and say the Bucks, and that's it.
Correct.
It's my turn.
Mm-hmm.
For the first time in history of any question like this, at the professional level, I will say the state of Nevada, and I'll say the sweet Golden Knights.
Yep, that will be correct. I realized I should have done this like in the terms of like you give me a number and I give you a state. I blew it. I apologize, and I will do better next time.
My favorite state?
Yes.
Louisiana has the Pelicans in the box.
Yes. Yep. I was waiting for that. I figured that was the state you had in mind.
Because it's my favorite. So goddamn human.
I don't know. I will guess the state of New York. Are there any teams from New York?
There are not.
Well, never mind. Real embarrassing, New York.
If you can lose here, you can lose anywhere.
Not even the Islanders, the Rangers, or the Sabres.
Nope.
I'll turn the knife on Charlie right here, and I will say the New Jersey state of New Jersey, and I'll go with the New Jersey Devils.
That would be correct.
Makes sense. I should have guessed that.
Indiana's got the Pacers.
They do. They do.
Basketball team.
Well done on your part.
Thank you.
No.
Oh, he's back, folks. Let me see this kid.
All right. Here we go.
There he is.
Maybe.
Maybe. There he is. And broke. It's like a doubleheader here. My heavens. Make some noise there so we can get you on the big screen. There we go.
All right. There we go.
Oh, and yeah, there we go.
Break down
Also,
the Devils.
if you just click on Stacken's thing on the bottom, then it just permanently switches to Stacken's view.
Second kid, hello.
Hello. No, they're
We
saying
got a-
hello to you.
Is that a four-seam grip? What do we got here?
Yes, it is. He's working on his slider.
Knuckleballer? The dog wants some attention here.
Oh, I know. Okay. Yep. Hey, Brophy, come here.
Hello. Hello.
All right.
Get stacking shoe over here, dang
Yeah, I think we're working on a. Is that a changeup? Is that what you're working on?
it.
We don't know. We got all summer to figure this out.
He's working on you having to change something pretty soon.
Yes, he is. I'm sure. He had a poop explosion disease yesterday. That was not fun.
Nice. Very good. Took a gamble and didn't pay off.
That's right.
Am I up?
I don't know who's this.
I think I'm
yes.
up.
Nope. It is.
Indiana? I said Indiana.
Yeah, Chris said
You did. Yes. Okay. Yep. So back to you, Charlie.
I will guess the state of Colorado, and I will guess the Avalanche.
Oh,
Extra point for the A in there. Extra point.
Because it's got the accent mark. So
Colorado.
I will represent the province of Manitoba, and I'll say the Winnipeg, aka the Peg Jets.
yeah, reluctantly, I'll have to give that to you here.
They're gonna win the Cup very soon.
Formerly,
Formerly the Atlanta Thrashers.
yes, and the Arizona Coyotes, formerly the Winnipeg Jets.
It's very complicated.
It
Jets
is.
are the Coyotes. The Thrashers are the Jets. But the Thrashers are not the Coyotes.
The Jets are the Jets. No, the Jets are the Titans used to be the Jets. The Titans used to be the Oilers.
How many we got left here?
Oh, yeah. Well, maybe I should figure that out here. We got 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 left.
Oregon, Portland, Blazers.
You forgot the trail, but I'll give it to you.
Oh.
Do it for the trail, y'all.
I don't know. I will guess Missouri.
Missouri does not have any.
Like it. The Phillies are showing me something. The Phillies.
I will go with the state of Oklahoma, the city of Oklahoma City, and the nicknamed the Thunder.
That would be correct.
Utah. Jazz.
Yes. Charlie, do you want to get the last city?
I don't know what it is, so I will. I don't know. I'll guess Georgia.
That would be incorrect.
What is it?
Tennessee, Nashville.
Yes.
Oh, my bad.
Yes.
Oh, there.
Marcus wins by 1 over Travis.
Good.
By 1, it came down to 1?
Yep.
My heavens.
That was prior to the Predators pick.
Came down to 3. Well,
Well,
okay. I wouldn't have got it.
you went to God our Preds? Man.
Our Preds. All right, I got to run. Take care,
All
folks.
right. Lounge Shoe for 8 books. See you tomorrow. All right.
All right.
All right. Have fun shoveling.
What, noon show next week? Draft special?
Yes.
Didn't we get Schottenkirk on this? So we can have 5 gentlemen, 5 picks, make the most sense. Charlie gets the Dolphins. Stacken gets the Vikings, of course.
If we only had 4 too, then we could all have 8 picks as well.
We could. So who do you want to say? It's a hell with a shot in Kirk?
No, I'm saying if he can't, I'm just saying it does. The math works out.
I'm sure he could. The Bucks making a run, Stacking. The Bucks, they making a run?
Yeah, they're not going to win this game.
They down?
They're down by 2.
They're down by 2 with Christ, 2 minutes to go.
They aren't going to win.
Shit. Then Shottenkirk gets Jacksonville, and we'll figure out an order from there if we possibly can. So,
all right.
Oh, Boston, a dagger. All right, folks, Lounge 249. We'll see you next week. We'll talk NFL draft and more snow.
Yeah. And more snow.
I don't know if we've ever had snow during the NFL draft. So, and the Twins probably will play after a 4-day All-Star break. So.